today we're going to make this. It's a little bed. You can see that. Sun in bed. Okay. And as you can see, it's got a texture on the outside. It's covered in a little quilt. Okay. So what I'm going to show you is, first of all, I'm going to cut a piece of silver. So first of all, I'm just going to get shears. You can cut this. This is about 0.3, 0.4 of a mil thick silver sheet. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut a blank like that. It's covered in blue foil to stop blue plastic to stop it from being scratched. And then I'm just going to literally take the plastic off. Then because it's a bed, so it's quite organic, so I'm just going to get a hammer. Just here. Back in a second. Here we go. One hammer. And I'm just going to hit it with a hammer. This is a steel punch with a line in it. Can you see that? And we're going to put it as a diagonal like that. And there we go. Can you see we have a little... We can put that back in if necessary, just to make it go properly. Another one at the bottom, and then I've done. This is just done with the actual ink, basically with a saw. We started to appear on the silver. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to repeat that. A slight different variation, but. And you can see it's starting to get hard. Okay?
Hello. So Richard and I are making a joy piece jewellery around...
I'm just going to do another design, as we can see here, so I'm just going to do another design. So this is...
And then Richard's making something to hang from it.
Okay, so we'll just go like that. So there we go, can you see that? So that's happening now. So if I take that away, so we've done that, we'll put the pattern on that. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put the actual head part, which is slightly pushed out, and you'll see the actual stamp. If you look at the stamp, going close, it's in reverse, okay? So what we're going to do, normally what I do is I'll actually use a piece of what we call false lead. We're going to do a head, which is part of that. So we're just going to place that on there like that, and then we're going to hammer down, and you'll see it's starting to come out. Can you see that? It's starting to push up. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit. We're going to do a little bit more. We're going to do a little bit more of that. So we can relocate it because it needs to be a little bit more out. The nose needs to be up a bit. So I'm just going to hit it much harder. There. And the nose and the eyes are starting to come out now. Can you see that? Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to actually just knock that down like that. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the hair on. And the hair is this it's the sun ray, because I call it sun in bed. So I have this stamp here, which is a strange shape. Looks like a flame coming out. Okay, and I'm going to place that on there, but I'm not going to put the actual. I'm just going to put the actual. I'm just going to put it. I'm going to actually put it in the middle first. So I normally do it first in the middle. Down. I'm just going to hammer down. Okay, and you'll see that it starts to, can you see the point coming straight out there? Yeah. I'm just going to knock that down a little bit there. And I'm just going to go all the way around doing that. Almost like a jester's helmet, jester's hat. They're all different, these, the same formula but slightly different. Oh, as you can see, it's starting to come. Can you see? See that? Little tiny dots on the ends to give it a bit of resolution on the end. It's a little dot like that. And that stamp is just a little tiny, it's just slightly recessed. And now if I wanted to, I could even put a little dot in between. Like that. This is, I call this mono printing on metal, because it's like little stamps, effectively. It's on mono printing on metal. Okay, and there we go. Can you see that? So we've got two, but now we've got to form the thing into give it a bit of form. So because it's all been very, we've hammered it, and effectively it's quite hard now. So what we're going to do is anneal it. So this is softening. So it's just literally going to a dull red. Gives it quite a lot of strength. As soon as you put a surface, any sort of structure, like little lines and things, into a metal, it becomes very hard. Now we're just going to get some pliers which are here, and we're just going to do a little bit of manipulation of the actual surface. So first thing I do is I've bent it slightly there, and I'm just going to literally squeeze that together like that, because what we're doing is the person is effectively lying in bed, so it's actually moving all over the place. As we do in bed, we move around a lot. Okay, not that I know about this, but this is what apparently everybody does it, so it's nothing abnormal. So the actual quilt becomes disturbed. So it does no longer become square, it becomes a... So we got that. So also we're just going to bend that over, because that's probably the quilt top, like that, or you could even like that. You see, I'm just getting the pliers. But as soon as we start doing this, it actually effectively starts to make the thing structurally more sound, because we're putting a curve in it. And can you see that is now more curved? Now I'm just going to squeeze that together. Where the feet are, let me just, it takes a bit of, like that, there we go. So we're knocking that down, so that looks like somebody's under there. Can you see that? So it looks like there's a body or something underneath there. All right, there's some form under there. Okay, and you can see it's quite strong. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is the head, wherever the head is. There it is, the head. You can see it's tarnished colour, but it's not gold or anything like that. It's just basically just a bit burnt. It's a bit of oxidisation. So the next thing we're going to do, we're just going to get a pair of shears, and we're just going to literally go around it to make it a little bit curved. Alright? So we're just going to curve that off. Like that. Okay, and can you see that starts a little bit curved? And then what we're going to do is going to get a half round square nose pliers, which I've told you about before, which I know where you see half round square nose pliers. And what we're going to do is we're just going to literally use the round, and we're just going to bend that over slightly. Like that. Can you see? So that looks like that. It's starting to look more like that. And then we're just going to get the file on there and just file it up. I'm just going to get the file. I'm just going to file it up like that. Just give it a nice curve. Just give it a little bit of a hammer in the middle. So I'm just going to literally put it on that material that I just had a minute ago and just tap it down a little bit like that. Even with this little tiny rounded punch like this, give it a bit of form. Can you see that? That's starting to look more like the head of the bed, so to speak. It looks like the head of the bed. Can you see? So effectively so it's just over the top like that. Can you see? Right, now I'm just about to solder this. I've positioned it, I put the flux on already, and this is quite tricky. So what I'm going to do here is I'm literally going to just tack it, because I quite like that edge over here, this edge over here, just coming underneath. So that's going to be made a little bit shorter. So I'm literally just placing that there.
What that is?
Whoa! There we go. We don't want it to flame. Stop it. Whoa. That was close. That was close. Just stretch it. Okay, and then what we're going to do is just heat this up. Just going to move it around a little bit, just with it. I'm going to do it again in a minute.
What colour? It's there. Dark blue one, isn't it? Remember?
So I'm just going to put a bit of flux under there like that. I'm just going to solder this. Just put a bit of solder on this side over here. Heating it up again.
Okay.
Moved in that direction. I can see it coming through the back.
Yeah. Mountain bike. Downhill.
There we go.
Downhill frame. Come on, 3-star.
Where are you from?
Rocco.
There we go.
And the BMX. So 2 BMX.
Okay. So we're just going to...
So this is the said item, the sun in bed. I think it's the actual one that I did. I did another one as well, but I think I sold that one. That was the enamelled one. So I do have enamel ones as well, but I haven't got any at the moment. And they have the bail at the back. It's quite a big bail, so you could put quite a big chain on it. Although it's very light, you don't really need a big bail on that or a big chain. As you can see, it's got a nice shape.